Saving the Earth, One Ostrich at a Time by Andrea Romero. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'll be talking to you tonight about how ostriches can save the Earth. One quick disclaimer, 90% of my slides would not matter if all of us decided to go vegan, so who's in? All right, yeah, so we're still good. One thing I do really want to bring attention to is how alarming our hunger rates are here in New Mexico. And we don't really talk about it in the way that it is on a global level. And if we did, we'd probably be a little bit discouraged about what our rates are if we look at the developing countries that we're amongst that are trying to actually solve these food crises in hunger and malnourishment. And if we actually just focus on children in New Mexico who are undernourished, we really only compete with areas of crisis, conflict, and failed states. So we're looking at a huge problem here in New Mexico in the way that hunger has affected our state, and we're not really looking at it in the right ways. So who feeds our country? Well, if we look at farmers, they're really kind of getting old. They're all over the age of 45, and the people, able-bodied workforce that's between 25 and 44 is very small in comparison. But we're all still eating a ton of meat, and in fact, by 2025, the demand for meat will have doubled since the early 90s. So it's not slowing down. In fact, the meat market is completely budding. But we know that these animals need a lot of resources to survive. In fact, they need a lot of land, in fact, arable land, and they drink a lot of water. And we don't really have a lot of that here in the US, and globally we're kind of in a problem. So who's going to make the save? Is it going to be Tim Howard again to save the US from all of its destruction? Well, I'm going to argue that actually ostriches can step in and make the save in this regard. A little bit of background on ostriches. They were really only entered on the global scene in the 1860s when they were farmed, and they were only farmed for their feathers. It wasn't really until 1950 that they were farmed for their tasty meat, and it wasn't until the 80s and 90s that migrated to the US, but by the mid-90s, the entire industry went bust due to corruption, and really farmers didn't know what they were doing, so there's very few players today. But ostriches are fascinating animals. They can grow up to 9 feet tall, weigh 350 pounds, they can run 43 miles per hour, and they can produce 70 eggs annually. They are incredible birds, and they originated in Africa. There's 3 different species, the blue neck, the red neck, and the African black ostrich. And the African black is what we typically see farmed today for its meat internationally. And ostriches have been used for a variety of different activities, whether it's transportation, entertainment, or bird racing. In South Africa, they race the birds like we do horses, but one thing's for sure, we've never witnessed an ostrich in the sand. It's never happened. But ostrich is tasty. It is a superfood and can really only be compared to beef and buffalo. And it's less fat than chicken and poultry, less cholesterol. And they are incredibly efficient to raise. Ostriches need very little food to produce a lot of meat and very little water to really survive. And when compared to a cow, it's incomparable. Cows need a ton of resources to make them happy. And even in their environment, the free-range ostrich really needs very little space to be content, and they really don't create any waste. They're so efficient that even the smell of their feces is non-existent. So welcome that into your community. But New Mexico could be a huge player in that we're very land-rich. It's a perfect environment for an ostrich, and really we have a lot of farmers and ranchers in our community. And there's endless possibilities when it comes to the leather, the feathers, and the egg byproducts that we do have. So we're perfectly poised for this as a potential marketplace for New Mexico. And when it comes to going back to food security initiatives and what it is that we can provide to our community, there's nothing that compares to the green efficiency of an ostrich. So I'm here today to step up to the plate to tell you I'm here to start the ostrich revolution, And so if you do have any questions or want to talk to me about it, I'd be happy to talk to you. But thank you guys for your time.